Carol Murray, certified speaking professional, has entertained and inspired hundreds of audiences nationally and internationally with her Nothing But the Truth translation of life experiences. As the author of Hitting Our Stride, Women, Work, and What Matters, Straight Talk, Getting Off the Curb, and producer of the Just for a Moment podcast series, Carol has had wide national publication of her articles and thousands subscribe to receive her online newsletter, Think Forward. Other writing credits include being featured in Extreme Excellence, dynamic interviews with America's top 10 performance experts. Please help me welcome Carol Murray.
Your handshake there. Did you feel how tight it was? Much firmer? And I've got a big hand.
That's because I'm nervous with you.
Oh, you're nervous?
No, with you.
With you? Oh, I haven't even begun. We could be talking love here. Thank you. Very, very good. That's and from a guy even. Cool. You're my pleasure, he said. Oh, he recognizes that. All right, got it. Whose rear end is that? And he goes, your mother's. That was embarrassing. All right, let's do it. Ta-da! Routinely, people fail to interpret accurately what it is you said. Routinely. And the bottom line is, as a result of that, they usually misunderstand what you said, you misunderstand what they said, and before you know it, you're moving from here to here to here, making decisions on false information. Have you been there? You thought you were clear. Did I not tell you this, this, and this, and they do something way off base, and we go, what? I will do the telephone game. If you remember that, where you would whisper something, and it comes back so foreign, and usually what happens, 99% of the time, the first person drops a fact. So you have a high ratio. If you give someone 2 or 3 things to remember, the odds are they will drop one. It is huge. In fact, let me talk to you about benchmarking. If I ask you to call me as soon as possible with test results, and you say, sure, I'll do that, and then I walk away, and she never clarifies what I mean by as soon as possible, she may think, well, it's 24 hours. 24 hours, that's when we're going to get the test results back, so I'll call you as soon as I get it back. I'm thinking in the next 30 minutes. Could I think it's poor service that she never called me back? That's benchmarking. And we want to get away from the criticizing, because when you do your coaching and you do your supervision performance reviews, I'd like you to get away from the yeah buts. Here's a way a yeah but works. You did a really great job on that phone call yesterday, but I wish this might have happened. A yeah but starts with a compliment. Sometimes you're trained to do that, to start with a compliment to kind of ease the pain of the disappointment that you're going to put on them next. Don't ever do that. When you do a compliment, you leave at the compliment and move on and let them enjoy the feeling of that. And then if I'm going to be working with her later, then I'll have her come in and I'll talk with her about things that might be able to improve her situation. So again, avoid the yeah buts whenever possible. We take a look at criticism. Women will have a tendency to do this a lot to themselves. We tear ourselves down in so many ways, shapes, or forms. It is sobering. But the one I love the best is when you turn to your husband and you ask him if your butt looks big. We already know it does. See, that's the worst thing. We already know. We are praying that there's an optical illusion that it'll happen when they look at it. It's like if we move sideways just enough, it's smaller. And I love the commercial with Geico with Lincoln. It's hysterical. I got to get that commercial because he's just not quite sure what to say, and then he tells her the truth because he's always honest. Well, I asked my husband that. Again, want to get feedback from him. I happened to notice when I got to Iowa, I put on a bit of weight because it's buffet and pie. Everything, buffet and pie. You bring potluck, and people bring carbs. There are so many carbs in Iowa, I can't stand it. I mean, I swear that the corn just attaches itself to me somewhere. Walking along sucks right onto you. But anyway, this is where I got into elastic, because I didn't realize I was expanding, because elastic is like magic. Okay, it's awesome. And so one day I was looking and I thought, man, I'd not seen that rear end because I was always like, what is that? And I walked into my husband and I said, Rick, whose rear end is that? And he goes, your mother's. You notice that the younger generation, it's harder to get eye contact with them. Have you noticed that? We learn to do this. They're texting all the time and doing that, but to get them to look in your eyes, because the eyes truly are the window of the soul, and there is something that's communicated with care and love. And in hospice, I never felt it more important, that I really needed to spend that quiet time with someone who has not long to live, and I'm willing to talk to you on stuff that's vitally important to you because it doesn't matter what I feel. You have this time. What can I do for you to help you? 3 seconds in America is about the norm. If you notice, you finish a thought, and then you move on to the next person. If you go into some Hispanic cultures, I actually was in D.C. speaking to about 125 people from Mexico, and I was talking about eye contact. And one man stood up, he goes, you look at my woman more than 1 second, you are toast. And I just cracked up, because that's it. You do not stare at any time, because it's flirting. I spoke to people from Japan. They're trained to look at the neck. Do you know how hard that is for a speaker when everyone's looking at your neck? And that's what I was used to. But here's what's really crucial. The longer you hold the gaze, we could be talking love here. And if that meant anything other than a stretching alien, you are toast, okay? Cool. As we look at that, so the loving gaze that we have, truly, we want to be careful. So some people say, why was I misrepresented? Why did someone think there was more to the relationship? It's because of how long you possibly held the gaze. This forward-looking outlook. You've got to believe that if my communication breaks down with you, that I have to believe I can fix it. I'm not going to be like that lady that's gone a year ignoring an employee hoping they're going to quit. I'm going to hope that I can fix it to make it a positive relationship, because let me give you something quite simple. You're working too hard, too long hours, working under a lot of stress not to love and be happy in terms of what you're doing. Does that make sense? So you build the joy in your unit.